Welcome to the social science class, 7th standard, history, lesson number 6, the Sultans of Delhi. So students, in this lesson, you will learn about the Sultans of Delhi. Now let us see the introduction about this lesson. During the 11th and 12th century, the Turks repeatedly invaded Indian territories. These invasions finally culminated in the establishment of the rule of the Sultans of Delhi. Turks repeatedly invaded. Invaded means to enter a country with an army in order to attack and take control of it. So Turk people repeatedly attacked on Indian territories to control of it. So these invasions finally culminated in the establishment of the rule of the Sultan of Delhi. Culminated means to reach a final result. So Turk people continuously attacked on our Indian territories, and that result they established their rules, the Sultan of Delhi. Next, this lesson briefly states the policies of the sultans, their administration, socio-economic conditions of the period, and the contribution made by them, architecture and literature. So students, in this lesson, briefly states of the policies of the sultans and their administration, their socio-economic conditions of this period, and many kings, sultans contributed their literature and architecture in this period. Beginning from the 8th century, there were repeated invasions from across the northwestern borders of India. These invasions aimed at looting the wealth, acquiring territories, and spreading the Islam. This is the map of this northwestern borders of India. So the people invasion aimed at looting the wealth and acquiring the territories and spreading the Islam. They always came to our northern western borders of India and attacked, and what their aim, the looting the wealth, acquiring the territories, and they want to spread their Islam religion. The Arab invasion. The Arabs were the first to invade the Indian territories. Who were the first to invade the Indian territories? The Arabs. So, what is the meaning of that territory? The territory means an area of land that belongs to one country. So that's why we have to call to this territory the Indian territories. Now next, they invaded Sindh in 712 CE. They attacked Sindh in 8th century. So as a result of their victory, the provinces of Sindh and Multan came under their control. So they attacked on the Sindh. So that's why as a result the provinces of Sindh and Multan came under their control. With this, the Islam started taking roots in the newly conquered the lands. So they attacked on the Sindh and they control the Sindh and Multan. Okay, so Islam started taking the roots in the newly conquered land. Conquered means to take a control of a country, especially in a war. Next, however, the Arab aggression soon decelerated. Aggression means angry feelings or behavior that make you want to attack other people. Okay, but this is the aggression soon decelerated. Decelerated means slow down, reduce in speed. They started attack on our Indian territories in the 8th century. Afterwards, the Arab aggression soon decelerated and slowly down. Then slowly they stop and reduce in their speed is there. So students, remember the important points in the Arab invasion. So who were the first invade to the Indian territories? The Arabs. Okay, in which century they invaded the scene? In the 712th century. And which province came under their control? The provinces of Sindh and Multan came under their control. And Islam started taking roots in the newly conquered lands. So the Arab aggression soon afterward decelerated. The next, the Turkish invasion, Muhammad Ghazni. 3 centuries later, Muhammad Ghazni of Turkish origin invaded India. Muhammad was the Sultan of Ghazni, a small kingdom in Afghanistan. Muhammad Ghazni of Turkish, he origin invaded India. He was the Sultan of Ghazni, and the Ghazni is a small kingdom in Afghanistan. He invaded India 17 times, looting and destroying prosperous cities and wealthy temples. So, Muhammad Ghazni attacked on India 17 times, not one or two. He attacked on our Indian country 17 times, and he always looting and destroying prosperous cities and wealthy temples. Prominent among such temples were Sri Krishna temples at Mathura and the rich and sacred of Somnath in Gujarat. So prominent among such temples means Sri Krishna temple in Mathura and the Somnath in Gujarat. So sacred means connected with God or religion. Muhammad Ghazni of Turkish origin invaded India. So he was the origin invaded India, and Muhammad was the Sultan of Ghazni. Ghazni is a small kingdom in Afghanistan. He attacked on India 17 times, and whenever he attacked on our Indian country, that time he is looting and destroying prosperous cities and our wealthy temple. So such as the prominent means famous temples is there. The famous temples were the Sri Krishna temple at Mathura and the Somnath at Gujarat, looted by Muhammad Ghazni. Now let us see the information about that Muhammad Ghori. During the last quarter of the 12th century, Muhammad Ghori, who was ruling a kingdom in Afghanistan. So Muhammad Ghori was a ruler in Afghanistan, invaded India and secured the province of Sindh and Punjab. He invaded India and secured Sindh and Punjab. When he made further advances into Indian territories, Prithviraj Chauhan, the king of Delhi and Ajmer, defeated him in a battle. When Muhammad Ghori advances into Indian territories, that time the Prithviraj Chauhan, the king of Delhi and Ajmer, so he defeated him in a battle. Prithviraj Chauhan defeated to Muhammad Ghori in a battle. However, Muhammad was spared from death penalty. So he got penalty. Which one of this? The death penalty. The very next year Muhammad came to India and fought with Prithviraj and defeated him. The next year Muhammad Ghori again came to India and Muhammad Ghori this time defeated to the Prithviraj Chauhan. Muhammad ordered him to be killed. So he is not given to his punishment like the death penalty. He ordered him to be killed. So Delhi came under the control of the Muhammad Ghori. So that time Prithviraj Chauhan was the ruler of the king of Delhi. He defeated by the Muhammad Ghori. So the Delhi came under the control of the Muhammad Ghori. So before returning to Afghanistan, he transferred the conquered territories to his general by name Qutbuddin Aibak. Aibak started ruling as the Sultan of Delhi. So student, we have seen the information about that Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori in the 12th century, he was ruling a kingdom on Afghanistan and he invaded India and secured the province of the Sindh and Punjab. And when he advances into the Indian territories, that time the king of Delhi and Ajmer, the Prithviraj Chauhan, defeated to the Muhammad Ghori. So Muhammad Ghori punishment by the Prithviraj Chauhan and he given him punishment like that death penalty. So he left that area, he gone to again Afghanistan, and the very next year Muhammad Ghori came to India and fought with the Prithviraj Chauhan. And this time Muhammad Ghori defeated to the Prithviraj Chauhan. He ordered him to be killed. Prithviraj Chauhan given the punishment to the Muhammad Ghori, this death penalty. But the very next year Muhammad came to India and fought with the Prithviraj Chauhan and defeated to the Prithviraj Chauhan. So Muhammad Ghori not given the punishment of the Prithviraj Chauhan like that the death penalty. He gave order him to be killed. So Delhi came under the control of the Muhammad Ghori. So, before returning to Afghanistan, he transferred the conquered territory to his general by name Qutbuddin Aibak. Muhammad Ghori, he returning to Afghanistan. That before he transferred the all conquered territories to his general. So, by the name of the general is the Qutbuddin Aibak. Whatever he won that area, that all winning areas, he given to his general. That general name was Qutbuddin Aibak. So Qutbuddin Aibak started ruling as the Sultan of Delhi. So the Qutbuddin Aibak, the first Sultan of Delhi. Let us see the information about the slave dynasty. Qutbuddin was the first Sultan of Delhi. Who was the first Sultan of Delhi? Qutbuddin Aibak. He had originally been a slave, and hence the dynasty founded by him is known as the slave dynasty. So he had came originally from the slave. So the dynasty founded by him so is known as the slave dynasty. Slave means what? In past time, a person who was owned by another person and had to work for him. Slave means in Kannada Gulama. So Qutbuddin Aibak was the Gulama of Muhammad Ghori. So Qutbuddin Aibak, founder of this dynasty, that's why they gave the name of this dynasty Slave Dynasty. The slave, the Khilji, the Tughlaq, the Said and the Lodi are 5 dynasties who ruled Delhi. Next, he strengthened the Turkish rule in India by defeating his enemies. To mark his victory, he started constructing the Qutub Minar at Mehrauli near Delhi. Later, it was completed by Sultan Iltutmish. Qutbuddin Aibak constructed the Qutub Minar. The Qutub Minar was the famous of the historical place near Delhi. In the slave dynasty, many rulers over. They had to given to your list here. The first one Qutbuddin Aibak, Iltutmish, Rajia Sultana, Nasiruddin Muhammad and Ghiyasuddin Balban. The only female ruler during the Sultana period was Razia Sultana. A daring Sultana, she dispensed justice in the royal court. She dressed herself as a man and led army in the battlefield. Intolerant of a woman's rule, the nobles rebelled and killed her. So, in the slave dynasty, only one female ruler, and her female ruler name was Rajia Sultana. So now let us see the information about the Khilji dynasty. After the slave dynasty, the Khilji dynasty came to power. Alauddin Khilji was the strongest of all the sultans of Delhi. So who was the strongest of the sultan of Delhi? Alauddin Khilji. His rule was based on military power. Policies. Alauddin introduced the several reforms in administrative, military and economic field. So what? In policies, Alauddin introduced the several reforms, means development, in which in administrative, military and economic field. He regulated the price of goods commonly consumed. So, he regulated the price of goods consumed commonly. He banned the consumption of liquor and gambling in Delhi. You know that liquor means drinkers people. What? Beer drinkers. It means in Kannada, darubandi. And gambling means bet, like this bet. They have to play the game, and upon this game they have to keep that money and that jua. Like this in Hindi telling that jua. In Kannada like this juju means jugar. Okay. So that all daru bandi and that jugar, everything is banned. The guilty were severely punished. Means the guilty were severely punished. Now next, military campaigns. Alauddin aspired to conquer entire India. So Alauddin's aim, Alauddin's dreams was he want to win the whole India. He want to capture the whole India. In the first instance, he conquered North India by his military strength. In the first instance, he captured the North India by his military strength. Next, his military strength to South India, he sent Malik Kafur, a slave who was close to him. Malik Kafur was a slave who was close to the Alauddin Khilji. To South India, he sent Malik Kafur, a slave who was close to him, with a huge army. Malik Kafur invaded the four major kingdoms of South India and looted their capitals. In North India, Alauddin Khilji, he captured by his military strength. And in South India, he sent his slave Malik Kafur to there, and Malik Kafur also invaded the four major kingdoms of South India and looted their capitals. Malik Kafur, continuing his military march, proceeded up to Rameshwaram. All along the route, his army destroyed the several places of worship and looted wealth. Never before had such a huge quantity of wealth of South India flowed to the Delhi. Malik Kafur, continuing his military march up to Rameshwaram, and he destroyed all several places of worship and looted the wealth. And this is the first time, and never before had such a huge quantity of wealth of South India flowed to Delhi. Means South India wealth flowing to the North India, flowing to the Delhi. The next, Alauddin patronized Amir Khusrau, Amir Hassan and other Persian poets. He built a new fort in Delhi known as the Siri. Alai Darwaza in Delhi, a grand structure, was his contribution to architecture. So, Alauddin patronized some poets. Their name was Amir Khusrau, Amir Hassan and other Persian poets there. And he built a new fort like that Delhi is known as the Siri and Alai Darwaza. And this is the grand structure, his contribution to architecture. Alauddin's last days were tragic. Means his last days were horrible, tragedy. Okay, there were several revolts in the palace to overthrow him. So many revolts overthrow him only there. At a time, many revolt attack on him. Okay. Finally, Malik Kafur, out of greed for power, means greed means durase. So Malik Kafur, out of greed for power, so he want to become the Sultan of Delhi. That's why that greedness he gone to oppose the Alauddin Khilji. So killed his master and declared himself as a Sultan. So see here students, Malik Kafur, out of greed, because he want to become the Sultan of Delhi, that's why he killed his master only. So now next, but he too was killed by his enemies. He too was killed by his enemies. Whenever Alauddin Khilji attacked, many revolt is there. In that revolt only Alauddin Khilji is killed by the Malik Kafur is there. At that time only Malik Kafur became the Sultan of Delhi. In that time only his enemies only can kill to the Malik Kafur. Within a short time the Khilji rule ended and the Tughlaqs came to the power. So students, what we have learnt about this Khilji dynasty? In the Khilji dynasty, the Alauddin Khilji was the strongest of all the Sultans of Delhi, and his rules was based on military power. So his policies we have to see, and military campaigns we have to see, and Alauddin's dreams, Alauddin's aim is there. What he conquered the entire India. So he won the North India and he sent to the Malik Kafur to South India. That also he won the South India. And Alauddin Khilji patronized to the Persian poets Amir Khusro and Amir Hassan like that. And he built a new fort like that in Delhi as a Siri and Alai Darwaza. And after this, that Alauddin's last days were tragic there, because his slave, his servant Malik Kafur only killed to the Alauddin Khilji because of his greatness. Malik Kafur also killed by his enemies only. So that's why the Khilji rule ended and the Tughlaqs came to power. Now let us see the information about the Tughlaq dynasty. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the most notable Sultan of Tughlaq dynasty. Who was the most notable Sultan of Tughlaq dynasty? Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The Tughlaq dynasty. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the most notable Sultan of Tughlaq dynasty. He was imprudent and ill-tempered who took hasty decisions. He could be easily enraged. In a word, he was a strange character. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was imprudent. Imprudent means rash, not showing care for the consequences of an action. So, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was an imprudent personality, means a rash personality. Next, and ill-tempered. Ill-tempered means irritable, very bad tempers. It means in Kannada, anarogya. Okay, that next, who took hasty decision. Hasty means said or done too quickly. Means without thinking he quickly can take the decision. It means in Kannada, atur. Next, he could be easily enraged. Enraged means to make somebody very angry. It means in Kannada, kopagonda. Okay. Now next, in a word, he was a strange character. He was a strange character. Strange means unusual or unexpected. Unexpected. So, it means in Kannada, vichitra. One Muhammad bin Tughlaq, one tara vichitrane ruler idra. Okay. So, students, in this para, what they have to told? They have to told about the personality about this Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the most notable Sultan of Tughlaq dynasty, and he was rash personality, very ill-tempered, irritable personality, and he always took the decision is like this very quickly is there. So he could be the easily enraged. So someone can make the angry upon to him also. Okay, so that's why they have to told in this lesson the Muhammad bin Tughlaq is a strange character. He was a strange character. Okay, now next, administrative experiment, transfer of capital. Whose administrative experiment? Muhammad bin Tughlaq's administrative experiment, and one such experiment is their transfer of capital. To improve the functioning of the administration, he undertook several experiments. Who undertook the several experiments? Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq wants to improve the functioning of the administration, and he undertook the several experiments. So one such experiment was the transfer of capital from Delhi to Devgiri. So one such experiment, which one is that? The transfer of capital from Delhi to Devgiri. Devgiri is in Maharashtra. So next, he was of the view that the capital should be centrally located. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq's view is what? The capital should be centrally located. So Devgiri, 700 miles from Delhi, was renamed Daulatabad. Devgiri is renamed Daulatabad. Who done of this? Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Devgiri is renamed that Daulatabad. And Devgiri, this is far away from the Delhi, 700 miles. He passed a strict order that all the residents of Delhi should move to the new place. He passed the strict orders. So he given the people of the strict order. Everyone means all the resident of Delhi who is living in Delhi. That people, all people can move to the new place, means to the new capital. The resident of Delhi who were forced to leave their homes faced untold misery in the course of their journey to a far place in the south. When the ruler can given the strictly order to them, they can leave that place and they can go to another place of this. And that place is very far away from their house. So people untold misery story in the course of their journey to a far place in the south. Misery, it means in English unhappiness or suffering. It means in Kannada dukkha. The resident of Delhi feel very sad because they want to leave their homes and they face untold suffering in the course of their journey to a far place in the south. ಅಂದರೆ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಡಿದು ದೇವಗಿರಿ ಬರುತನ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತನ್ನ ಸ್ವಂತ ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರು ಬರಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ರು ಅದ್ರಾಗ ಭಾಳ ಸಫರ್ ಆಗಾಕತ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರು ಭಾಳ ದುಃಖ ಆಗಾಕತ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಯಾರಿಗಿದು ಎಲ್ಲ ದುಃಖ ಪಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಯಿತು? ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಬಿನ್ ತುಗ್ಲಕ್ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಿರಿ ಜನರಿಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಎ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ಡೈಡ್ ಆನ್ ದೇರ್ ವೇ. See, 700 miles they want to walk from the Delhi to Devgiri. In that large number of them, in that way only many people died on the way only, on the road only. Okay, so next, anyway, after shifting the capital, he realized that he had committed a grave mistake. So students, all people shifted to the Devgiri. From Delhi to Devgiri, all people shifted. In that way only many people died. In that time only Muhammad bin Tughlaq realized that he had made a grave mistake. ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರತ, ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು. ಅಷ್ಟಿರ್ತನ ಅರ್ಧ ಜನ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರತ. ವೆನ್ ಹಿ ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್, ಆನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ he lost the hope of the people of this empire. Again, he want to improve his mistake. So that's why he took again one decision. So what's his decision? See here. So he ordered reshifting the capital and the people to Delhi. Ababa, he want to improve his mistake. Again he took the decision from Devgiri to Delhi. People can again go to their capital there. So in that between, in meanwhile, however, only few survived to return to Delhi. So students, you can imagine why in this book told that Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a strange character. ಯಾಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಬಿನ್ ತುಗ್ಲಕ್ ಯಾಕೆ ವಿಚಿತ್ರ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅವರಿದ್ದರು? ಮುಂಚೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ನಡು ಇರಬೇಕತ್ತ, ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಂಪೈರ್ ಇರಬೇಕತ್ತ, ಅವರು ದೇವಗಿರಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರು. ಡೆಲ್ಲಿದಾಗ ಇರುವಿರಿ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದು ದೇವಗಿರಿಗೆ ತರ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದು ದೇವಗಿರಿ ತನಕ ಜರ್ನಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಫ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಡೈಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ವೇ. ಅಂದರೆ ಭಾಳ ಜನ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅವ್ರು ಡೈಡ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ದೇವಗಿರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋಣ ಗುರ್ತಾಯ್ತು, ಅವ್ರು ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ತಪ್ಪು ಆಯಿತು ಅಣ್ಣ. ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರು ಆ ತಪ್ಪು ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಮತ್ತು ದೇವಗಿರಿ ಹಿಡಿದು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ ತಂದುಬಿಟ್ರು. ಆರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್? ಮತ್ತು ದೇವಗಿರಿ ಹಿಡಿದು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾನ, ಇನ್ನೂ ಅರ್ಧ ಜನ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ತೀರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನ ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ಆಗಿ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾರ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತು? ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಬಿನ್ ತುಗ್ಲಕ್ ದ ಹೆಸ್ಟಿ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಸಂಬಂಧ. Without thinking, without taking care of the people, he took the decision. When he was taking the decision, that effect what happened, he not think only that. Simply hasty. I told na that before, hasty means very quickly. Without thinking that effect, simply he had to take on the decision. But that all effect on that, people suffered. So student, I hope you understood why we had to call, otherwise in this textbook told that Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a strange character. ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಬಿನ್ ತುಗ್ಲಕ್ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ವಿಚಿತ್ರ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇದ್ದರು. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ದಾಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಗೊರ್ತ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ issue of the token coins. Another reform of Muhammad was that he issued copper coins in place of silver coins with the same face value. So remember, another is reform means ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಬಿನ್ ತುಗ್ಲಕ್ ಸುಧಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು. ಏನಾಗಿದ್ದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ವಾಟ್ಸ್ he issued the copper coin in the place of silver coin. He issued the copper coin in the place of silver coins. Okay, and that both the same face values. But he failed to pass order that only the government had the authority to mint the copper coins. In this lesson, means manufacture coin, to produce money by stamping metal or coin. Okay, so only those have authority, only the government had the authority, they can mint the copper coin. But he failed to pass order that the only government had the authority to mint the copper coin. Listen student, I will give one example is there. Our money can minted by the government, so we can get it and we have to use it. Otherwise this is very easy way to we can mint ourselves only, so not the value about that coins is there. Correct? ಅಂದರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಈಗ 500 pages 500 rupeesದು ಒಂದು ನೋಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ನಾವೇ ಮನೆಯಾಗಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿ ಅದು ಡುಪ್ಲಿಕೇಟ್ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದೇ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಉಳಿತದನ? ಏನು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಉಳಿಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಡುಪ್ಲಿಕೇಟ್ ಇದ್ದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹಿಡಿದ ಒಂದು ಏನು ಕಾರ್ವಾಯಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅದು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹಿಡಿದೆ ಅದು ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅವ್ರು ತಪ್ಪಿಬಿಟ್ರು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಫೇಲ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರು. ಏನಂದ್ರು ಬರೀ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಅದು ಅಧಿಕಾರದ ಅದು ಕಾಪರ್ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಜನ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರು, ತಂದೆ ಮನ್ಯಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಕಾಪರ್ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾನ್ಸಿಕ್ವೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಬಿಗ್ಯಾನ್ ಟು ಮಿಂಟ್ ಕಾಪರ್ ಟೋಕನ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅವ್ರವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಾಪರ್ ಕಾಯಿನ್ ಮಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರು, ಕಾಪರ್ ಟೋಕನ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಡಿವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಯಿನ್. ಅದ್ರ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಆ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್ ಡಿವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತು, ಅದಕ್ಕೇನು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನೇ ಉಳಿದಿಲ್ಲ. ಫೈನಲಿ ಹಿ ಅಬ್ಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ದ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಪರ್ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್. ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರು, ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಬಿನ್ ತುಗ್ಲಕ್ ಅಬ್ಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ಡ್, ನಿಷಿದ್ಧ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರು, ನಿರ್ಬಂಧ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರು. ಏನಂತ, ಯಾರೂ ಕಾಪರ್ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತ. Okay, so he exchanged the silver coin for the copper coin. So again what he done, he exchanged, before he exchanged what, silver to copper ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕಾಪರ್ ಟು ಸಿಲ್ವರ್ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಅದ್ರ ನಡುವೆ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ದ ಟ್ರೆಜರಿ ವಾಸ್ ಎಂಟಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೆಜರಿ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾಗಾಯಿತು, ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. So he was deceived by the people. So people can going to oppose to him. How he maintained that empire, yeah, whatever. Many questions revolves upon to him. This experiment proved a great failure and weakened the financial condition of the state. So ಈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು, ಅವ್ರ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಫೇಲ್ಯೂರ್ ಅದರ, ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆ ಏನೂ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ದ ಎಂಪೈರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆರಿ weakened the financial condition of the state. Okay, so the government could not meet the demand for silver coins in exchange for token coins. Okay, so government could not meet the demand for silver coins and in exchange of the for token coins. So discontented by Muhammad's rule, people revolted. About that, people also can suffer about this decision. So that's why people revolted. People gone to oppose this ruler, okay, oppose this sultan. Okay, so next, while he was putting down a revolt in Sindh province, he died of fever. Whenever people gone to oppose him, that time he want to suppress the people's revolt in the Sindh province, but in that between he suffered from the fever. So in this fever only he died. So student, you have seen the information about that Muhammad bin Tughlaq, how he was a strange person. Before I discuss with you, he was the most notable sultan of the Tughlaq dynasty. He was imprudent, ill-tempered, took hasty decision, and he could be easily enraged. So, in a word, he was a strange character. Next, after the Tughlaq rule, the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasty ruled from Delhi for a short period. After the decline of the Tughlaq dynasty, the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasty came on the power and they ruled from Delhi for a very short period. The last Lodi ruler Ibrahim was defeated in the Battle of Panipat by Babur, who laid the foundation of the Mughal rule. The last Lodi ruler Ibrahim was defeated in the Battle of Panipat by Babur. Who defeated to him? Babur defeated to Ibrahim. In which battle? In the Battle of Panipat. Okay, so who was the Babur? The Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire. Remember, students, who was the Babur? Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire. So, who laid the foundation for the Mughal rule? So, students, we have seen the information about the Sultan of Delhi. The first one, that Arab invasion, the Turkish invasion, and after them Muhammad Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori, and the slave dynasty, the Kutubuddin Aibak, then Alauddin Khilji from the Khilji dynasty, and Muhammad bin Tughlaq from the Tughlaq dynasty. Now, let us see the information about the contribution of Delhi Sultans. Contributions of Delhi Sultans. Administration. Although the Hindu formed the majority under the Sultanate, the administration functioned on Islamic line. The army formed the backbone of the state. The sultans were absolute. Okay, so although the Hindus formed the majority under the Sultanate, because of this Indian country, so sultanates can ruling, but people are majority is more Hindus people is there. Okay, the administration function on Islamic line, but administration going on function which one? Islamic line. The army formed the backbone of the state. You know that the army formed the backbone of the state. The sultans were absolute. Balban, a notable sultan, declared that he was God's representative and hence accountable to God alone. Again, before we have to discuss about that, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a notable sultan, and Balban also here notable sultan. He declared himself he was the God's representative, and what he told, he hence accountable to God alone. The sultans, however, had to face frequent revolts of the local rulers and were always fearful of losing power. Why sultans feel fearful of losing power? Because this the Indian territories and majority of the Hindu people. Economy. The burden of land tax heavily fell on the peasant. Muhammad bin Tughlaq further increased the land revenue and got it collected mercilessly. So consequently, peasants revolted everywhere. So weaving was a major occupation of the people. Which is the major occupation? Weaving. The cities provided employment to a large number of the workers on account of the brisk building activities taking place there. The sultans were mainly importing horses. Architecture and literature. The main structure built by the sultans were the famous Qutub Minar, 17 meter tall. Alai Darwaza, an impressive entrance, Kuwaitul Islam Mosque, and the fort of Siri. All these are in Delhi during the Sultanate period. The Urdu language evolved. Amir Khusro and Amir Hassan were great Persian poets of the period. Amir Khusro was a great musician and evolved musical instruments such as tabla, sitar, and others. The poet Jayasi wrote Padmavat in Urdu, which was a Sufi poem. Ramananda, Kabir Dasa, Rai Dasa, and Mirabai belong to this period. So students, we have seen the information about that Sultans of Delhi, and here only our lesson is over. Thank you.